The Toronto Blue Jays might have just made a 1,000 IQ trade. Big brain stuff here. Because on paper, it looks like the Mariners win this trade pretty instantly and pretty easily. The trade, of course, that I'm talking about that happened earlier today is between the Blue Jays and the Mariners, where the Blue Jays sent Teoscar Hernandez, all-star power-hitting outfielder, to the Seattle Mariners in exchange for Eric Swanson, a reliever, and Adam Macko, a prospect pitcher. And like I just said, it may not seem like a 1,000 IQ trade just yet, but as I explain more and more in this video, you're gonna see what exactly is going through the Blue Jays' mind and where this could possibly end up going for them. Because while this is a very good trade for the Mariners, I want that to be very much clear from the beginning. I think the Mariners made a really good trade here. Teoscar Hernandez is a power outfield bat that they are somewhat missing. I mean, they're just kind of missing power in general. Julio's fantastic, we know that, but you could always use a little more power in your lineup, and a guy like Teoscar who has elite level barrel rates. He was 94th percentile in baseball last year in barrel percentage, which for those of you who don't know, that's just, you're hitting the ball really hard and really well in the air. This is a huge pickup for the Mariners. And a guy like Eric Swanson, who has been a phenomenal reliever for you, the last 2 seasons? And a prospect pitcher in Adam Macko feels like a no-brainer for a team that clearly shows that they can develop bullpen arms like they did with Eric Swanson, as well as a team that needs that power bat. And Teoscar's that guy. So, Seattle Mariners fans, this is not a slight against you guys. The 1,000 IQ has nothing to do with ripping you off or scamming you guys. And you Blue Jays fans, I understand the initial reaction. Like I said, on paper, it doesn't look good for you, but this is going to be a long play. This isn't about the trade today. This is about the moves that could be made later on this week, later on this month, later on this offseason, later on this year. Because we saw a tweet earlier from Ethan Diamandas, who sounds like a nice Greek boy. He's a Blue Jays beat writer for Sports Illustrated. Blue Jays GM Ross Atkins on the concept of George Springer moving to right field next season. If that does present itself, where there's an everyday center fielder that we can add, and it makes our team better, I know George will be open to moving to right field. Do you guys hear what do you see where I'm connecting the dots here? Because there are 2 really good outfielders, and one who's truly a center fielder, the other one's a right fielder, that are available on this market right now. And as much as I would love for it to be Aaron Judge, and maybe it is Aaron Judge, he would make this team better, I think this is more in regards to the free agent center fielder from my New York Mets, Brandon Nimmo. And I know, I can read you guys in the comment section right now. Mark is so biased, he's talking about how good Brandon Nimmo is, but the numbers don't lie. Brandon Nimmo is one of the best center fielders in baseball. He's not Mike Trout level, but he's a part of that next tier. Since 2018, here's where Brandon Nimmo stacks up against other center fielders. WRC Plus, he ranks 2nd amongst all center fielders since 2018 with a 138. Yeah, 38% better than average. That's a really good guy. In terms of WAR, Brandon Nimmo is 5th amongst center fielders. 2 of the 5 guys ahead of him are going to be playing right field, most likely, in Starling Marte and Ronald Acuna, along with, if he goes to the Blue Jays, George Springer moves to right field. So you got Brandon Nimmo 5th here now. He has the 2nd highest on-base percentage among center fielders since 2018, 4th highest WOBA, and as we've seen the last few years, he's become a really good defensive center fielder. While this trade for Teoscar looks a little bit weird right at this exact moment, as I've said, moving Teoscar frees up some money, $23 million to be exact, that can go towards another outfielder to make this team better. And as good as Teoscar is, Brandon Nimmo playing center field, moving Springer to right field, will have a significantly bigger impact on the Toronto Blue Jays than keeping Teoscar, along with the fact that you got Eric Swanson, who last year was one of the best middle relievers in all of baseball, and a pitching prospect in Adam Macko, who some people are high on. He hasn't pitched above A ball, so the jury's not sold yet, but he looked great last year. He had some big strikeout stuff. And just to go back to Eric Swanson a little bit here, because I think we need to talk about how good of a reliever he has been and was last year. If you look at his Baseball Savant percentile rankings, there's a whole lot of red. And on Baseball Savant, when you see red, that means good. Average exit velo, 98th percentile. Hard hit rate, 96th percentile. K rate, 96th percentile. We're talking about a guy who struck out 34% of the batters he faced last year and walked under 5%. That's a K to walk rate of about 30%. That is absolutely disgusting. He's got elite chase rate, got really good whiff rates. The stuff is real with Eric Swanson. Eric Swanson's also basically free as he's in his first year of arbitration, and he was worth, according to Fangraphs, about $14 million last year based on his performance. It's a sneaky good move, especially with everything else that's involved with the ins and outs of this trade. It could be huge. And for a Blue Jays team that's trying to compete right now, again, in the short term, it feels weird to lose Teoscar Hernandez. Offensively, the team is worse without him right now. But you bring in a guy like Brandon Nimmo. If you get crazy and use that $23 million to go after an Aaron Judge, which I think is unlikely. I think Nimmo is a whole lot more realistic than Aaron Judge. I don't know, maybe you go after another player. You just free up these $23 million to go spend on some legit impact guys, and you got that money by saving it on Teoscar Hernandez, who's not even going to be on this team in 2024. So you take Teoscar's money, you free it up, you get Eric Swanson in, who's got team control until 2026 free agency. You bring in Adam Macko, who's a pitching prospect, and you've got money to play with on a team that was a playoff team this year, a team that people thought could really contend in 2022, and you have the opportunity to improve even more. Bringing in a guy like Brandon Nimmo, I'm terrified as a Mets fan because I want Nimmo back so badly. This feels like the Blue Jays might have just made a 1,000 IQ play because it makes too much sense now. When you start theory crafting it and putting it out there into the world, you go, oh my God, the Blue Jays are gonna go in on Brandon Nimmo. They need a left-handed bat desperately in this lineup. Desperately. It's just all righties everywhere. Think about it. Vlad Jr., Alejandro Kirk, Matt Chapman, George Springer, Lourdes Gurriel. The list goes on and on. The right-handed bats here are prevalent. Bo Bichette, I didn't even mention Bo. Bo Bichette righty. Brandon Nimmo feels like he will slot in perfectly in Toronto, which makes me super sad because there was a world where Brandon Nimmo and George Springer could have been playing center field and right field for the Mets. But now it looks like that this could be what's going on in Toronto. And as crazy as that trade looked like earlier in the day when you saw the headlines, the more you break it down, the more it makes sense and you go, oh my God, the Toronto Blue Jays are making something happen here. Big brain plays. Of course, they have to get Brandon Nimmo. If they don't, I don't like this trade nearly as much. And I also want to make sure you guys remember, I think this is a great trade for the Mariners. This isn't about them getting ripped off or scammed or ruined or fleeced. I just think that the Blue Jays might have been making big brain moves here and making their team better by getting rid of Teoscar Hernandez. Addition by subtraction, but then bringing in additions. I mean, this could be absolutely crazy. This is one of the few moves that we've seen so far this offseason. Of course, we did see Tyler Anderson sign a 3-year, $39 million deal with the Angels yesterday. Didn't cover that in the video. It's a smaller move. At that price point, I think it's a good move from the Angels. He's gonna regress. There's no doubt he's not gonna finish with like a 2.5 ERA again, but that cutter is legit. He's a soft contact king. I think this is a good move, but the Angels still need another frontline starter with Shohei Ohtani before you can really start talking about this rotation being solid, at least in my opinion. There's still a ways away, but I hope the Angels go out and spend because I want Ohtani and Trout in the playoffs as a part of the Angels, and if not, you can come to the Mets and be in the playoffs. Anthony Rizzo re-signed with the Yankees on a 3-year deal. Makes sense. He's made to play in Yankee Stadium. That's a good fit there. Good move by the Yankees to go and get that first baseman back for them, especially when he was really good this year. And then I guess like the last move to talk about real quick was Xavier Edwards, former top prospect, and JT Chargois, I don't know how to really pronounce his last name properly, got traded to the Marlins in exchange for Santiago Suarez and Marcus Johnson. This is just what the Rays do. They got to clear spots on their 40-man. This is what made the most sense to them. They made a bunch of moves yesterday as they cut down the roster. No big names like a Tyler Glasnow. And it seems like Xavier Edwards is happy because he says he's looking forward to playing for his hometown team, the Marlins. Good for the Miami kid. I'd love to know what you guys think about this Blue Jays trade down in the comment section below. Let me know what you're thinking. Do you think that they're going to end up making a push for a Nimmo, a Judge, or maybe even someone else with all this free money now? Drop a like on the video if you did enjoy it. It really does help support the channel. As well as don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on all the content coming at you all off season long. Follow me on all my social media at GiraffeNeckMarc. Links are in the description. Thank you guys for watching. You know the drill from here on out. YouTube recommends you watch this video. This is my most recent upload. Click through those if you have not yet seen them. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow for another video. Bye.